On a breezy afternoon in downtown Chicago, a black man named David Matthews found himself in a situation reminiscent of an unpleasant past. Having just left a nearby cafe, David was heading home when suddenly he heard sirens. Police officers swarmed him, demanding he stop and present identification. David, a calm and learned man in his early 30s, cooperated without resistance, albeit somewhat confused by the situation. The officers, stern-faced and rigid, informed David that he matched the description of a suspect involved in a crime that had occurred nearby. Knowing he had done nothing wrong, David offered his ID and explained that he had simply been enjoying his day at the cafe. As they ran his identification, David stood patiently on the sidewalk, catching glimpses of passing pedestrians who looked on with a mix of curiosity and empathy. The officers, while maintaining their vigilance, seemed more confident in their suspicion than in listening. Minutes passed, each seeming slower than the last, until finally one officer's demeanor shifted dramatically. He walked over to David, his expression now a mix of bewilderment and respect. "Sir, I apologize for the inconvenience," he said, returning David's ID. David thanked the officer and assured them he understood the complexities and pressures of their job. However, what turned the situation around was not just the ID check, but the fact that while the officers searched his name, it flagged several achievements under David's profile. These achievements included his role as an eminent civil rights attorney, known for advocating racial equality and justice. Word quickly spread among the officers about David's true identity. The commanding officer stepped forward to offer a more formal apology. It was a powerful moment of realization for them, underscoring the irony of detaining someone who fought tirelessly against racial biases and wrongful arrests. As David departed, an officer inquired about attending one of his public lectures. David smiled warmly, extending an invitation to engage in constructive dialogue about justice and equality. Back in the solitude of his home, David reflected on the encounter. It was a poignant reminder of the work that still lay ahead, the pervasive biases and assumptions that shadowed everyday interactions. Yet, in that moment of misunderstanding, there was also a small victory in awareness and engagement. David resumed his day, more motivated than ever to use his voice and influence to pave paths toward better understanding. Perhaps one day, a world where such incidents were deemed unnecessary relics of the past.